Hi, I'm Mike Andrzejczyk with Virginia Cooperative Extension. I'm the horticulture agent in the city of Chesapeake, and today I'm going to talk to you about when and why to prune. Okay, so a lot of people will prune in the fall, and they think that's a good time when they're cleaning things up, but actually that's not usually the best time. We want our plants to go dormant. We want them to rest and get ready for winter, and if we make a cut, we're stimulating new cells to grow to seal off those cuts. And that can cause damage when we get an early freeze and cause the plants to die back further. So if we make the right cuts, we may have further damage, and that can lead to insect and pests or disease issues getting into your plants more easily. So we want to always look into our plants and see what's going on. There's also some studies or some articles that people write about pruning right after bloom for azaleas so that you don't lose the bloom. And that's true, but we always want to consider our plant's health. So we want to prune when it's best for our plant, not best for us, to make it better in the landscape. So azaleas, yes, if we prune right after they bloom, that's fine. We're not losing any blooms for next year. However, for the most part of our plants, the best time is in the winter time, when the plants are fully dormant, so January, February, before March, before they start to grow in the spring, because all of that energy is contained. They're fully dormant, so they're not going to start growing or start sealing those wounds off. There aren't insects and diseases out there that are more readily going to affect them. There are always exceptions, like fire blight, and we can talk about that in a little bit, but that's the best time. So plants can start the spring off with new growth in the right direction. If you make the proper pruning cuts, you're not going to miss any of those flowers that you removed from the azalea. If you planted the azalea in the right place, it will grow to the right size and fill out that space without pruning, so you wouldn't need to do that. But a lot of times we do need to prune plants because they get damaged in a windstorm. A branch falls out of a tree, crushes a branch or something like that on your azalea, and it looks misshapen. So wintertime is the best time to do that. But anytime you do have damage to your plants, you want to make a clean cut to adjust that, to make it easier for the plant to seal it off. Okay, and there are plants like maples and birch that are what are considered bleeding trees, and so in the spring is not the best time for those because they will leak sap, and that can provide entryway for fungus, disease, or insects to come in and infect your plants. So those are actually best in late fall, early winter, after maybe the leaves have fallen off the trees. You can go in and do some pruning there, but try and reduce or limit your amount of pruning to less than a third of the canopy, and if you can do even less than that, that's ideal. Okay. The other plants to consider are apple trees and pear trees and related species like pyracantha or quince. Those are very susceptible to fire blight, which comes out in February in our area. So making any wounds at that time can open that to new sites for that bacteria to get into the plant. So we advise not to prune after December. So apple pruning in orchards and things is usually done in December so that it can seal those wounds off before February. Or if you do have some fire blight on your plants, to wait until June so that the fire blight bacteria is completely dormant and you're not spreading that around. So if you have other questions about pruning, we have calendars, we have other instructional guides. Feel free to give us a call. Thank you.